It's funny how many people wanted him to choke too.
People love to be miserable. A bunch of miserable people out there.
Don't what a gracious guy Justin Rose is.
Justin Rose is the man.
Like,
he is the man.
If I recall, or I think I'm correct, his third runner-up, his second place at the Masters.
I mean, well, I'll tell you this much: he's got 2 Masters playoff losses. That much I know for sure. He lost to Sergio in the playoff.
I looked it up yesterday. I think it was like 2015, 2017, and now 2025. Absolute sportsmanship, peak of sportsmanship there. What a guy.
He also came in second at the Open last year.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah. So his last 2 majors, he's been second.
Still like a $2.4 million payday for him yesterday, though. So I don't feel too bad.
Nah, he's the man. He's got a major too, which is cool.
Which one did he win?
He won the US Open.
Okay. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. It's the EV Strategy Show. 8-game baseball slate today. Well, no basketball, which I mean, expected to happen, right? So now you've got basketball tomorrow. We have ourselves some play-in games, and then we'll get into the real swing of things. But I will say there's already a lot of basketball props coming out, so we can take a look at that. I would say you just want to be a little bit more careful at times when it's this far out. I don't know why. This is just, my opinion to you guys, to you, Ben. I found, oddly enough, that you would think, because I went back and looked at the Portfolio Lab, you would think, and what's up, everybody? Happy to have you with us. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It's free. And if you don't mind, leave a comment down below. Hope you guys had a good weekend. But I've gone back and looked at a lot of data on 24 hours or more, or 12 hours or more. We'll go 12 hours because it gave me a larger sample. Time from the tip. You would think, right, that for basketball, it would be much better. It actually wasn't. And I wonder if that's just because real price discovery is happening there and there isn't really a super sharp source going into these games.
So I agree with that. Again, and this is why I love doing this show, give people ideas. I think the fact that it's the playoffs supersedes that, because typically in a regular season, you're talking about when things are that far out, some of those teams, there could be back-to-backs, there could be weird situations. You're talking about a crazy amount of variance. It's not that hard to really project even now, what the Bulls or the Hawks or whoever the hell's playing is gonna do in the play-in. You know what I mean? It doesn't, Orlando, you feel pretty good about what's going on with those teams. Golden State, I think that you can safely deploy any bets right now.
Okay. All right.
Because it's different.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah. I'm with you. Typically, this reminds me a lot of bowl season, actually, ironically, in college football, where you never, ever, ever get situations where you can bet a game 3 weeks out. But it's because of just the unique nature of this. How often are we talking about NBA games 36 hours in advance when we feel like we know a good amount of what's going to happen?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's, when it all comes down to it, you think it's actually more easily projectable going into 100%. The postseason here.
Yes. And I think you will get real closing line value with less variance than you normally would betting days in advance.
So for what it's worth, yesterday, everything we already knew all of the East was locked up yesterday. That was going into it. Everybody, even the 7, 8, 9, 10 seed, all of that was locked up. The West had a ton of question marks. It was actually meaningful. I personally hammered the over on Anthony Edwards. I should have laddered his threes.
You've got the magic eye with him lately. You've been, every time I'm on the show with you, you mention Anthony Edwards, and you've been spot on. You mentioned him off, I believe it was a crazy game against Memphis, and you nailed that.
Yeah, because if you look at it, and obviously, like, we're talking a small sample, but
Of course.
when you look at 2 games ago, he's coming off that game where he went wild. Now you got a second of a back-to-back against the bad, all of this stuff, like second of a back-to-back, and then that last game they got against Brooklyn, all that. Yeah, it was really just like, all right, maybe he goes a little bit lighter today, and then the last game yesterday, you just knew that Anthony Edwards had to go nuclear. He also, I think, beat Malik Beasley for the 3-point record with 7 threes. I should have laddered that. I really should have, because I was on over points, but should have gone with the 3-point ladder. Point is, basketball is a weird sport like that, because if you have a decent read on specific games and like what it means to a team and how bad they need it, and especially since Utah was actually keeping that game competitive, who's going to get the usage. You know what I mean? It's a lot different than football, where like in a matchup like that, it could easily just be the wide receiver 3 who against a really bad team goes off. In a spot like basketball, a lot of times it's like your guy's going to get usage. He's going to get the work.
Yeah, I mean, I had a real good cadence I had the Blazers yesterday, and
Nice.
I think what people make the mistake in general of like, to me, there's a gigantic difference of teams that are resting who don't need the game but are a relevant team versus teams like the Hornets they've been resting for 2 months. So like the last game of the season for them, or the Blazers or the Pelicans or all those type of teams, is not that different. But for a team like the Lakers, the Rockets the other day when they played the Lakers, those are spots I think that were, and it's not like the spreads don't know, let's be clear, but I don't think they are efficient at all when they try to project that stuff.
I couldn't agree more. That's what I really liked Scotty Barnes overs yesterday too, for the same reason. It's a team that's been out of it.
Yeah. And another thing, I said this quickly on Thursday or Friday, and I feel even more strongly now. The Clippers are a problem. The Clippers are a serious problem in the West, I think.
It's funny you say that, because this Clippers-Nuggets matchup might be really fun.
Yeah, I mean, that game yesterday was a playoff game. The Golden State Clipper game was intense.
If Kawhi is healthy, dude, he dropped 30 plus. Harden had 39 or something.
Powell,
right.
they got a team.
They do have a team. What are the odds? Because remember, we were looking at this the other day.
Yeah, you asked me. You said non-Oklahoma City, and I was saying the Clippers. I'm telling you, I'm going to go to the futures right now.
I'm on it.
15-1 to win the West,
and 40-1 to win it all.
It's come down.
What was it at?
I think it was in the 50 range pretty recently. I could be misremembering, but I could probably look. I want to get some exposure to them though. I might have to string up a home run or something with them today and go batshit crazy.
Pretty wild that the Nuggets, or that the Warriors, have way shorter odds than the Nuggets to win.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Like the Warriors aren't even guaranteed to make it into the postseason.
No, they're playing. They play tomorrow.
Don't they play Memphis?
I honestly don't even know who they play.
I think they play Memphis tomorrow.
They play Memphis tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, they got Memphis. They're not even guaranteed to make it in. And here you got the Nuggets at 31-1. I don't know, man. I don't hate that at all. I still have a live Nuggets ticket paired with Michael Waka under strikeouts, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Damn right you do. That, I'm telling you, that those are beautiful.
They help. All right, let's get into some stuff. First off, let's see if we have any good bets on the Portfolio EV tool. Any parlay worthy stuff as well. I think we might actually have something on FanDuel. I'm not sure though. Playoffs hit different, right? So you should have a lot less volatility here. You shouldn't be getting burned nearly as much by the injuries and by this nonsense, right? And it's so funny, man, because the last few weeks, not great to me for portfolio EV. And I think a lot of that is just getting burned by some of these guys that aren't on the injury report and then not playing. Last postseason, last April, like going in was great. Was great. So I think it's just the added element of madness has really thrown a wrench into the works. Now, for what it's worth, a lot of people are still crushing it. So it may just be like a FanDuel thing for me. It might just be one site, right? Because I'm in Discord all the time and I see a lot of people in there that are still crushing it. But there's no doubt that volatility with not knowing guys who aren't even on the injury report, the fact that that's going away now is massive.
It's huge. Again, I'm treating this as and I don't want to, I don't want to get too crazy because it's like anything else. There's playing games and it's a long playoffs. So it's not like, oh my God, I got crushed on Tuesday. What's wrong with the NBA playoffs? Nothing. No matter what happens, I'm not worried about that. But you had mentioned this on Friday. I had looked at it. We had our devs pull the NBA playoff data from last year, just because I do like to kind of know what market should I focus on if it was all the same, and it was pretty positive across the board. I believe assists were the best, but regardless, I feel pretty comfortable with the NBA playoffs. It's going to be my heaviest volume. I'm going to basically take as much as I can get with those matchups.
Yeah, you have to.
And
there's going to be a lot too. What's that?
I wanted to ask you this though, because this is something you've done a really good job on. And I bet people are wondering this. And if they're not, I don't care because I'm wondering it. I need to know this. So there's less games, right? Are you willing to put in, and I'm not saying parlays, but straight bets over and over that are somewhat correlated? Because that may happen with such few games. So like what I'm trying to say is, so you take the Magic, right? If it says, and I'm just using examples, so don't like run to bet this. Like, okay, Bankroll under on points, but then later in the day you see Bankroll under on PRA, and then another point, under on points and rebounds. Are you okay having now like 3 or 4 positions tied to one individual player with the same similar, stat peripherals included?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think I am too.
Would I prefer under points and then under assists separately? Yeah. Sure. Would I prefer it not to be under points and under threes? Sure. But at the end of the day, it all comes out in the wash.
It does. It does.
Like you're going to have days where, you bet under PRA, you bet under points, and you bet under threes, and he crushed. But you're going to have more days where they go under on all 3 of those. So if you can handle like some of those swings, then yeah. If not, then don't do it. Understandable. But I think a lot of it really is just a tolerance for that type of variance when it comes to like having 3 bets on the same guy, all of which are unders. But there are also times where I'll have like under points and then over rebounds on the same player.
Well, yeah, but there's where basically it's just like if you look at the breakdown of expected outcomes, typically uncorrelated, 2 and 2, then 3 and 1 or 1 and 3, then 0 and 4 and 4 and 0. With something like this, it's the opposite kind of. Like you're very likely to win them all or lose them all if they're like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just high leverage.
Yeah, and look, if you're trying to be cautious about that, you can always factor in a few things. Like if it's under points and under PRA, but it's a guy who only scores and racks up 0 peripherals, and you feel more comfortable staying away from that, right? Like if it's under 17 points and under 20 PRA or 21 PRA, right? Because he has a 2.5 rebound prop and like a 0.5 assist prop or something, then sure, because if he clears points, it's likely that he's clearing both. But if it's a Sabonis or something like that, where you've got PRA, I think it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like points and PRA, No,
I get it. I'm more with it again, because I'm just like I'm trying to extract as much value from the NBA playoffs as I possibly can.
And I think the way to do it is just bet them.
That's what I mean. Like I'm betting them, and I'm seriously.
Go ahead.
So I don't do this a lot during the regular season, but I'm seriously considering basically running like pyramids, in the sense of like if I have 4 or 5 straight bets, I'm probably going to consider trying to build some parlays off them.
Uncorrelated.
Uncorrelated. But maybe not with the boost, because I'm assuming we're going to get same game parlay boosts, and then I will use those as well.
Yeah, it's just going to be tough to build uncorrelated 4-leg parlays in the playoffs with a minimal amount of games.
Well, I might include like maybe I should clarify. I'm not saying just solely NBA. I'm saying like
Gotcha.
I will use the NBA bets with strikeout props and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Happy to do that. I put this up on the screen though from last year. There you have it. Last postseason. It's just 17%, 0.7%.
Yes, 17%. Like, what is that?
I know. Everything was positive though. Like, even if you're looking at a 2% ROI on threes or PRA, that stuff really does add up. So, if they're all positive, you bet them all, right? It's that simple. You just bet them all. Anyway, let's take a look at what we've got. A lot for Golden State popping up on FanDuel right now. We also have a Framber Valdez strikeout prop that is up here. I'm going to actually look to hit that right now. Under on strikeouts for Framber Valdez on DraftKings. Not bad at all. I'm not worried about HROI because we've only tracked 188 bets so far. And that's just simply not enough. And we know last year they were very positive. So I don't mind that at all. You're getting it at plus money. We're saying the true odds are plus 110. A lot of these other books have minus 108, minus 105. Framber Valdez, nice little spot. They actually already bet that. Khalil Ware, here's another one, under 9.5 rebounds. How big do you think the difference is in some of these props across books when you're getting them like several days out? Mind you, that Khalil Ware prop, Ben, is for Wednesday.
That's what I mean. There is no, this is why I'm okay with this. There is no situation ever where we're talking about Wednesday NBA games on Monday during the season. That's just not a thing. Ever. So
before the first game of the season.
Only the first game. Yeah, again, that's like, betting in the NFL, things like that. You only see that at the beginning of seasons or for bowl season. I'm okay with it because, again, I'm not waiting. If you can anticipate some of the rotations in terms of will it be the same? Will it be slightly more condensed, which I think is the macro logic of the playoffs? There's no blowout risk. I'm more than happy to jump on something on Wednesday today.
All right. Well, here's something we can do. I'm going to place all of these right now. There's 4 bets on DraftKings. Okay.
I'll put some of these in right now too.
There's 4 bets on DraftKings, and I want to show you guys something. I'll pull them up so everybody can get a look. DraftKings NBA, DraftKings MLB. Accept my limits with shame. And there we go. Now, here's what's sweet about this, right? So I went in and place and hide. I did that through my phone. Now we can go into the brand new My Bets tab, and you can see what bets you have up there. Okay? So here we go. We can see what we've got up here. These 4 bets right here. I've been so busy today. These are the first bets I've placed, bud. On Vooch at plus 120 where we bet it, it is already at plus 109. You see that? Within the time we placed it, it has already moved.
Yeah, by the way, I don't know if this is you're giving sneak peeks out on the show here, I believe.
Oh, my fault.
That's fine. It just people get excited because it's coming to all of you.
I thought it was out already.
It's not. But how sick is that, by the way? Does that not look awesome? I've been using it. It is super awesome. It'll show your closing line value. It validates kind of, it's a good experiment too, because if you log a couple bets for Wednesday, we're going to have 48 hours of time to see. But yeah, you guys aren't crazy. Lofty's just, he likes to show you that he rolls.
Dude, I had a long day already. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever, it's a sneak peek, right?
It's sick. We're super excited. Full transparency. I don't think this is bad to say. we are testing it in real time. So when we bring it to you guys, it's already refined. And I'm super pumped about, because I've been using it, been giving the devs feedback on what I like, what I don't like, and I have been really, really sweating it with my bets. It's been awesome so far.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Anyway, there's the blunder of the day, which at the end, I'll be honest, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
No, it's great. I think it's hilarious. I'm super excited for people to check it out. Just, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
Okay. Either way, it's going to be much better than the bet tracker that we had. So you should still be using this with you should absolutely still be using this with another external bet tracker. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. It's just another tool. And I like to see kind of, yeah, I mean, I already have my weird spreadsheets, but I'm now using this integrated into those. So that's kind of cool.
Yep. But it's also, we are seeing, here's a weird thing. And I don't know if you've noticed this, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but in the time that we've been doing this show right now for the last like 25 minutes or whatever, it appears that certain books are just pricing entire teams. And this is going to happen, right? Because if I'm no savant when it comes to projections, but I understand, like, you're doing projections by team.
Mm-hmm.
If you've noticed, you've got like all of these Golden State unders on FanDuel. And then we just had a bunch of Miami unders on DraftKings, like very book specific there.
I'm not surprised by that. I mean, again, I'm no savant with this stuff either, but my guess, in just thinking about things logically, is what books do, especially this far out, is they want the market to refine those props for them, and then the limits will increase. So a couple of days out, they're going to throw out what could be wildly inefficient lines. The market will tell them what's inefficient. They will refine that naturally. And then as the majority of bets come in closer to game time, they now have props which have been already molded by sharp money.
Yep. Price discovery is exactly what it is.
Exactly. So it's like, you can, but that's okay if you're be the discoverer. That's fine. Take advantage of some of that.
And who cares what your limits are? Just because you're not going to get it at that price later for any dollar amount. So get it while you can.
Especially if you're already limited.
Yeah, exactly. So just to be clear, you're on board. You'll bet anything on the board for NBA leading up until tomorrow, leading up until Wednesday. Not worried about it. Do you think there's a significant edge betting it that far out?
I do. For the playoffs, I do.
I get it.
I'm okay with. And again, it's going to be a really interesting test. I might even throw out some feelers today, and I take a couple on Wednesday. Tonight, I'll check in, and if I'm crushing on the closing line value, I might add more. And again, that's something I'll monitor.
I think you need to be monitoring that for sure. If you're not monitoring, and you can do this very easily. Like, I've even before we had tools for it, like, dude, I went in and I would manually see the closing line value on all my stuff.
Well, now we have our swanky hidden tool.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even before any of that stuff, like even before Pickett, like, I was always going in to see, because that at least gives me a baseline of whether I'm doing something right or wrong.
It's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's a big difference maker. Like, I have a Draymond prop on FanDuel that I bet at -113. It's at -146 right now. So
see, like that's what I'm saying. That there's not much more that needs to be. That's an extreme example, but there's really not much more you need to do with that. Like, right. It's just done. Case is closed. You did it. Good job.
Yeah, right. And then it either wins or it loses.
Yeah, but it's just like, there's no one to me can seriously argue that you don't want that on the card, even if it's a day out or 2 days out.
Yeah, and even if it loses without it being a sweat.
No. Or you're just getting artificial closing line value. But
how much do you believe in that? It is something that we know exists.
It definitely exists. It's to me, it's more art than science, though. Like, you're an idiot if you're like, oh, I bet the Super Bowl and I got like artificial. Like, well, no, that's not how that works. But yeah, if you bet like the first half of like Romanian soccer, shady, and that's given out in like a Discord, yeah, you're going to get closing line value on that regardless.
But how much are the books willing to move so that they don't get hammered on the other side? If they move it too much to where the other side now becomes plus EV.
Yeah, again, I think that's where you have to use your brain of like the liquidity of the market. It's not going to take much if I mean, again, I don't know, I'm speculating, but I genuinely believe if like 30 people all at the same time bet like some really obscure thing, lacrosse total, they're gonna seriously consider moving that pretty quickly.
I think so too.
You know, it doesn't take much.
I've given out like obscure touchdown props and watched them move too.
Yeah.
You know, like obscure 11-1 type props that have essentially no liquidity at all. And then what, 30 people bet it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that means nothing.
Nothing.
But in a market like the NBA playoffs, even though, of course, there's a lot of top-down bettors and other people doing this, I still do believe the concept, you know, it's not just the artificial closing line value.
It can't, not in the playoffs. It's not. There's enough liquidity. And there's also a lot of sharp originators out there and projection-based bettors that, like, if you move it too far in one direction based on, you know, the inflow of top-down bettors, yeah, it's just going to get hammered on the other side.
Yeah,
which
there's crazy.
Maybe they'd be okay with.
Well, you know, again, I don't roll in the like at the very top with people doing like crazy stuff. I'm sure there's all sorts of syndicate, whatever, steam chasing, and you know, I'm not Harala Bob over here.
No, but at the same time, when it comes to these rec books, like you're not going to get a lot of sharp money on like these player props.
No, it's not worth the time.
Exactly. Right. So how worried really are they, is what I'm saying.
No, I think a lot of the stuff is, I was thinking about this actually yesterday, unrelated to this, but just like, sometimes you really have to step back, or at least this I do, and just keep it simple. In the sense of like, there's all this intricate, am I getting artificial? Well, am I winning? Yeah, on the whole, I'm still winning with this strategy. So I'm really not going to change that much. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm getting closing line value. I'm doing good. You got home run props up there. I've been taking those. I've been getting pretty lucky with some of them, to be honest. Devers. I've been betting Devers like there's no tomorrow.
You know, another thing too, real quickly. So have I. And I actually like this spot tonight against Baz, because Baz has been really good. But also, this Tampa stadium is not Tropicana Field anymore.
No.
Mother Nature did him a favor. A shitty stadium. It's the same dimensions as Yankee Stadium.
Well, that'll work.
Yeah, it's George Steinbrenner Field. It's their spring training field. So super favorable to lefties. And Rafael Devers is a lefty. So I actually like this spot for Devers quite a bit, Ben.
Yeah, I'm putting that on the card. So
Brett,
yeah,
let me real quick answer it. I do like surface level origination to go along with these personally. I don't know what Bet does, but I definitely like with the Devers thing, talking about, hey, this park's way better than it's a good park. I think Baz is due for a little bit of regression and all of that stuff, but also we're getting good odds and it has a positive edge over on FanDuel. To me, that's more than enough.
I'm basically the same. You know, I don't get too crazy because I still firmly believe the most obvious thing, which is the line knows better than me. But I still think it's okay to use a little intuition when these edges are all similar too. So if I have a 4%, you know, expected value and I have two of them and I only want one, well, I think it's more than fine for me to break the tie organically.
Yeah,
that's fine. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just doing it like that. And so it's been good. I use home run props primarily for like very, very small unit. Like I still think you can flat bet, and that's fine. I don't include home run bets when I talk about flat betting now.
You can't.
No, don't do that.
What type of unit allocation are you putting towards home runs?
Like anywhere from like 2/10 to a half. If it's a really good player, I think you can roll a half unit. It's fine.
Okay.
Like, if you have like Shohei or like someone that has,
but not 20-1 odds to homer.
This is where, even though it doesn't actually matter, it matters for unit allocation. This is where expected win comes in. A lot of people talk about like X win. It doesn't actually matter in the sense of something can be 1,000,000 to 1 and be incredible value, and something could be 85% to win and be horrible value. It does matter with how much you should bet, though. Like, I could have edge that some made up guy on the Phillies is going to hit 3 home runs tonight, but he's not gonna, most likely. I shouldn't bet a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly. It's still something that you should bet 1,000 out of 1,000 times. That's the thing. But it's something that if you were to do that with improper unit allocation, after the third time, you have nothing left.
Oh, yeah. You need to, I mean, if you go improper unit allocation, only 2 things are going to happen, but one happens extremely more likely. You're going to get buried. Or, and this is true, if you get lucky early, you absolutely sun run and you scale incredibly quickly. That is the honest truth. Like, if you bet full units on your home runs, if you go 2 for 4 to start, you're going to be crushing. But the problem is you're banking on getting lucky at the right time. That's a incredibly dangerous game.
Very dangerous. Patch has said so many of those lines moved in real time on the show. I appreciate it, though. Got in some good plays on Vooch, Pajemski, and Levert. Yeah, man, that's what we want, and that's why these tools are powerful. And we talk about like artificial CLV and all that stuff. But look, I've placed bets before with these tools that have gotten negative CLV, right? It's a lot less of them, but you're never going to get 100% closing line value across all your bets. The reason I say that is because it doesn't mean just because you bet something from even these good tools that it's going to get positive closing line value. I actually think that's a good thing, because that tells you, Ben, that not everything is artificial.
Of course. I mean, stuff's going to happen. You also can win those. Like, that's the other thing. You might be on the wrong side of the coin, but you're still going to win them at a healthy clip. It's just not going to be enough to overcome the break-even point, which is why you don't want to make a habit of it.
Exactly. And your first week is always free. You ever want to check these tools out? Try it for free, guys. The link's in the description. Ben can throw it in chat. That all you have to do when you sign up is get the free trial. Just use that link and get the free trial. Like, no promo, no strings attached, nothing. Use the weekly option. And if you hate it and you're like, I want to bet differently at the end of the day, if you can't stand it, just cancel before your week is up. That's it. No one's going to come knocking down your door to collect the whatever it would have been. It's legitimately risk-free. Right? It's free, not just risk-free. It's free. It's not like you get refunded. You'd get refunded the $0 you paid. Check it out. Build portfolios out. And with NBA playoffs right now, if you're not in yet, I think it's the perfect time to make it happen. The perfect time.
I mean, we already showed those results. Jamie was asking about specific settings for MLB portfolios. I don't know about you. This is just me. My MLB portfolios right now are like incredibly basic. I don't have anything fine-tuned. I have OS ratings of 2. And I'm pretty much including everything.
So same, but I'm also, and this is a personal thing. Whenever a new sport starts that isn't NBA, because I know NBA just year over year for us, outside of this last crazy stretch, which for some people, including myself, has been tough for NBA. NBA is just killed like throughout the regular season and the postseason. So I just go in guns blazing, right? For MLB, it is a more difficult top-down market. So I will bet it all, but I will also bet smaller amounts if possible than I normally would. Now, being limited, it doesn't make much of a difference. But I think if you have a recommended bet size of whatever, I would bet it less than that only until we have enough track data in the portfolio lab to get a large enough sample on each market to know now where you should really be drilling down on. I think that's a pretty reasonable approach. Still bet it, but then once you have enough data in on all of these markets, you can go back, say like even a couple weeks from now, and go, these are the spots I really want to hammer. Because I know that's what I did for NBA, and I know how well it worked.
Yeah, I'm also, Brett just said this, I'm also flat betting NBA as well.
MLB, he said MLB.
I'm sorry, not NBA. NBA is wild right now. MLB right now, I've pretty much been flat betting just because I really have two separate buckets. I have normal and then home runs. Home runs is just a different animal. I don't really make a ton. The only other thing I would say, this is again personal choice, home run props that are like plus 900, plus 1100, I'm not betting those as much. Like if you're a platoon player that happens to be in the lineup and you're batting ninth, maybe in certain situations, but for the most part, I'm sticking to everyday big time players. Like Devers would be a good example.
Devers is a perfect one. And I think there's also going to, like, Ozzy Albies here looks good, 5% edge, 5-1 on ESPN. Perfectly reasonable there.
Yeah.
Like O'Neal Cruz here. There are plenty of these guys that don't have to be 2-1.
Here we go. This is where, but like some of those guys at the bottom there, I'm not saying don't bet them, but I'm like, you're talking 10-1, and I understand the value's value. I just talked about that. They're not fitting exactly what I want to do, though, with my home runs. I'm usually looking for these home runs to be additional parlay pieces for other things.
Yep, absolutely. Brian Hayes here, for sure. Now, I will say this is where you and I may differ a little bit, because this is the free live odds tool. You guys can jump in that, just create a free live odds tool is free. Again, if you want to get access to all of the most powerful tools that we have, definitely use the free week and get the top bets get the top bets tool, PortfolioEV, get the mass entry tool, the parlay generator, all of that stuff, right? The portfolio lab you can see, and soon the my bets tab. My fault, but I don't even feel bad, because all the people that watch this show are like our people anyway.
Yeah,
they hang out no matter what. So, what I was getting at, I will bet if there's a 10-1 that pops up here in the actual EV tool, Ben, I'm betting that.
I'm more with you than against you, but it's still not something that I like. When I'm betting these, a lot of times I'm using mass enter and whatnot. If I see it, I usually keep that, and I kind of like dig in a little bit.
Okay.
There's a manual override that I do with those.
Okay. I get it.
I don't keep my home run portfolio active with my other portfolios.
Yeah, anytime, Jamie. Feel free to ask us questions. Feel free. Because Jamie said killing it in NBA, but MLB's throwing me a curveball. I see what you did there. Yeah. Also, you could go into the lab now, even though it's a small sample. I don't think that's the worst idea. If you have certain props that have like 300-400 tracked already, see if any of them are killing. Because if they're killing, my guess, Ben, is that, like, let's say one of them's up 15%. After 1,000, probably might not be 15%, but probably still going to be positive.
Also use the other metrics. Like, I don't really care what my results are as much if I look and I'm like, I'm getting closing line value on 85% of these. Like, that's going to lead to good things. Now, if I look and I'm up and I'm saying, man, I'm not getting a lot of closing line value. This is good, but I'm going to monitor this because some of the peripherals aren't great. So you can kind of infer, are you running cold? Are you running hot? Or is your results within, a pretty standard range of outcomes?
Also, it's also an absurdly high variance sport.
Yeah, baseball, there's 160 something. I don't even know how many games there are. Shows how much I know about baseball.
Yeah. But anyway, it's perfect to have a tool like this, because trying to sift through all of those props every day is damn near impossible. Appreciate you guys, Brett, Jamie, C Money, everyone else in here who's hung out with us, everyone on X. Shout out to you guys for hanging out as well. Come join us. Jump in the Discord, as Ben will always tell you. One thing you should know, if you're not in Discord and you use the tools, see in the top right, this account info right here, this icon, click that. You sync your Discord right from there. It literally takes a second and you're in all the premium channels. So make sure to do that. Make sure you have the OddsShopper app as well. and that you have notifications turned on for these EV opportunities. Because as Patch has said, Ben, they moved in real time as right after we bet them. They moved like seconds later.
I love when that happens. I know it's annoying for content, but to me, there is no better proof of concept of, if someone's watching and they're thinking about signing up for the free week, if the lines are moving in real time, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So I love to see that. It makes me very confident that the tools are working properly when I see that stuff.
I also like this Arenado under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs as well.
That
Minus
guy,
115 on DK.
He is the anti-Derek White for me. Every time I bet Arenado, I win. Even if it's a home run, I bet him infrequently. When I do, he always shows up.
So whether you're betting an over or an under on him.
Or an under.
Yep.
That guy is a money factory for me.
Tough matchup against Framber Valdez today. I like this spot, minus 115 on DK. And see, look, another Miami prop for DraftKings. It's funny how that works. Anyway, guys, appreciate you. You are the best. If you're having a tough April, reach out. Keep tuning in. Things turn around. Like I said, man, I had a tough stretch too. No doubt about it. It's going to happen.
That's real betting for you. Like, I would love to be the salted toucan on Twitter that never loses with my 100 max triple lock. Don't get me started. Real world betting. Greg put out a tweet the other day about his bankroll thread, and it looked like just straight steady gains. And then you look at the interval on the bottom and you're like, wow. So that means during this run from $100 to $1,300, he had like a month stretch where he was down.
Yeah. He said he lost like 20 straight days at one point.
Yeah. And he turned 100 into 1,300.
I know. It's when you think about it, it's a 1,200% ROI on his starting bankroll.
With a major downturn in there.
With a major downturn. It happens. Happens to all of us. No question. Stick with it. Just, listen, tune your portfolios. Be in tune with closing line value. All this stuff. Just don't, you can blindly use these tools, but don't blindly use them in the sense where you're ignoring maybe like major leaks that could turn everything around. Because I've made that mistake before and changed it, and it does make a big difference. So with playoffs coming up, play-in games coming up, let's turn things around in a big way. Your first week, again, guys, always free. Just use the link in the description. Use the free week trial, and you'll get in. You can jump in Discord with that. You can download the app. Everything is available to you. There's no restrictions on what's available. And if you have questions, you can always hit us up. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Big MLB slate.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, 15 games. And the start of the NBA playoffs. Maybe not in earnest, but the play-in games should be fun. They're fun, dude. It's single elimination in some of these.
I couldn't be more excited. I'm, like I said, coming off the Rory win. I feel great. I'm ready to rock for NBA playoffs tomorrow.
Let's do it, man. We'll see you guys back here soon. Later.